That's right, and boom goes the dynamite. Today we're going to talk about Everfest, the brand new set coming out this week. Guys, it's this week. Can you believe it?
Dude, it's Friday.
Excited.
It's Friday.
Oh my god, coming out this week.
This Friday,
it's backwards
yeah.
on my screen. I need to flip myself.
Oh, I am.
Guys,
I am so stoked.
I'm so excited. How excited on a level from 1? Let me turn the music down. The music is too loud. It's just ridiculous. Oh my god, that music was insane. But you know what? Tannen is the boss. He said, "Turn the music down." And I said, "Yes, sir." Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
I told, when you posted that in the chat, I was like, you know what I'm going to do? Tannen's going to join. I'm going to fix all the screen regions, and then I'm just going to put him like right there, super tiny in the middle. They were like, just tiny Tannen.
Tiny
I think
Tannen.
that would have been hilarious.
A nickname that he's never had. Tiny Tannen.
Oh, Tiny Tannen.
If you don't know,
I didn't have enough facial hair to be on this episode. That's what Tannen says.
Tannen, you need to grow a sweet mustache, man.
Oh, that would be awesome.
Yeah.
I feel like we talked a lot, like over the course of this year, I feel like we talked a lot about facial hair while we were at the callings, which is kind of strange.
Yeah, it is
Very
a little,
strange.
But
Tiny Tannen's in here in spirit. But now we're going to talk about Everfest because this set is a few days away at this point, and there's a lot of great stuff to talk about with regards to this set. First of all, hype level for the set. Let's go around. My name's DM Armada. I make YouTube videos about this game and all other games and stuff like that. This is my channel. Welcome. Or it's Kel's channel. I'll pass it over to Kel since you're on my right. Kel,
Hello.
do you want to introduce yourself?
hello. Or rather, I should say, how's it going, everyone? My name is Kel, also known as Red Zone Rogue. I also talk about Flesh and Blood. It's my favorite game. Just period. My favorite game, and I love it. And I'm so excited for Everfest. But we'll talk about that later. I'll have Bill introduce himself. He's this way for me. Steven's this way for me. Bill's this way for me.
I don't even know where I am right now, but I do know that I'm on DM Armada's channel. Hello, everybody. What's up, Spikes? I am Bill from the Spike Feeders. I'm part of a content channel where we do currently Blitz content. We're planning on doing classic constructed content as well. And I'm a level 1 judge, and I like playing in our local meta. All of our events have been shut down for a while, so I've literally had only time to be hyped about Everfest. I just sit here every day, and I just have this energy that needs to go somewhere. And right now, it's this Roundtable, so I'm very excited to be here.
I will say, for folks out there who haven't watched the Spike Feeders FAB channel, the gameplay and editing is really, really good.
Oh,
like, you should
it's
seriously
so
check
good.
it out. Like, seriously.
Not only that, but like the fact that it's I love the idea that you take one hero and you just roll with that hero and play it against other matchups. Those are incredibly fun to watch. Don't tell anyone, but I watch them on my drive home from work, and by watch I mean listen to them in the car. But it's great that you edit it in the way that you do, because you talk through everything so clearly that it's very easy for me to just listen to and know exactly what's going on. So super solid work and super solid stuff.
It's really, really good for like new people or people who are learning too, because everything is very, very clear. So yeah.
Yes, Bill, people are saying you're a little bit quiet. I don't know if I can control that on my end, but
I turned up my gain slightly on my
there you go.
microphone, so hopefully that'll
bumped
help.
that
And
gain.
I'll just try to project. I was a theater kid in high school, so
Okay, cool.
I'll do my best.
Really, that's cool. That's interesting.
Oh, yeah.
That's
No, I
a
was a
total
huge nerd.
sidetrack.
I was also in theater in high school.
I was in
Hell yeah.
band. I was in band, and
I was
did
also
the
in band.
theater. I played in the pit orchestra for the musicals.
Nice.
What did you play, Bill?
I played the bassoon.
Oh
Nice.
my god, I would have not
Nice.
said that. I would have said saxophone.
My,
I would have said saxophone.
my partner plays saxophone. Yeah.
Bassoon,
Anyway,
that's a solid instrument, man. You have to have
Yeah,
like
how about you?
long fingers for the bassoon.
It was weird. It's a weird instrument. You need like a hand bridge. It
Yeah.
looks like an apostrophe, just
Yeah.
so that you can actually like have your fingers in the
lots
right
of
places.
thumbs.
But anyway,
Lots of thumbs.
lots of thumbs.
That was my least favorite part about learning how to play the bassoon, was lots of thumbs. No, actually, that's not true. This is totally off the rails already. We're doing wonderfully. This is going so well.
No, this is good.
But all of
Just having
the
a good time.
half holes that you have to do, the half holes for certain notes. I'm not a crazy fan of half holes, but it's
Yeah,
fine.
it's weird
Okay,
stuff.
so now that we've talked a little bit about music, I've checked off my band director conversation for today.
Hell yeah.
Let's talk about hype level for Everfest. Before the set started spoiling and then after the set is spoiled, I am actually in the same spot, I think. But it's interesting because I shifted as the thing went on because of the way that spoilers were released. And then I shifted again after spoilers finished being released and people started opening packs and boxes, which is kind of weird. So I was like always at the like 8 to 9 out of 10 hype range for the set, because for me, I love these types of supplemental sets, like Crucible of War, even from the drop. There were some people that didn't like Crew. I loved it because I love building new things and trying weird combos. And so I knew this was going to be like that, and it is. And so I'm still at that hype level. What do you think, Kel? What's your hype level?
I am hype level 10. There's 10 cards here. This is a pack of this is a pack of Everfest. I'm hype level 10. The set's sweet. I love supplementary sets in every card game that I've ever been a part of. Just like Steven said, it's the best place to put like really interesting and weird stuff, and that's what I love. And I love brewing decks, and I love playing with weird, interesting stuff. And so supplemental sets are going to be among my favorite, hands down. And I mean, I was pretty hyped going into it, and then I got my pack, and I opened it the day before spoilers started rolling out, and I saw all this stuff, and I was just like, nope, it's still there. It's still there. There's like coppers in the set, and there's a card that's called Blade Runner, and I'm just like, of course there's a card called Blade Runner. I'm just like, I love it. I love it.
When I saw that, like literally, I guess it was 2 days ago, because I saw that for the first time in my cards here.
Yeah.
I looked at this, I was blown away by the fact that Blade Runner's in it. And then I was also blown away that they took my own visage and put it on a card. Like, how did they do this?
Yeah,
how did they manage to
You were
nail
just
it?
talking about that.
Just so perfectly. Literally, multiple people went to the comments section of the video opening this and were like, look, DM Armada, you're on this card. And I'm like, that is shockingly true.
It totally
It's very
is.
strange.
I also pulled a DM Armada. Look at this. look at this. I love how we already have like pack pulling memes, and the set's not even out yet. This is definitely going to be one. I also want to shout out this artist, by the way. Alexis Suzani is an amazing artist. He only has like 200 followers on Twitter. You should go follow him. His art is really good. He also did the Amulet of Oblation. He's really, really good at like landscapes. Fantastic artist. So, yes. Follow him. He's so good.
Indeed. Bill, hype level before and after spoiler season?
Oh, I would say I'm like probably in the same boat as Kel. I was at a 10 almost immediately just because of like the theme. I just loved the idea of having like a carnival, because then one of the things that a lot of people mentioned to me when I introduced them to Flesh and Blood is like, oh, it's like kind of dark, and like the theming of it is pretty dark just in general. But then, you know, you have this carnival where it is a little bit lighter. It can still have that dark stuff. Like, I mean, Steven's preview card, blood in her hands, like that's not...
It's metal.
That's not... Yeah, it's really, really metal. So you can have stuff like that, but then you can also have cards like named Macho Grande and have it like...
I love it.
So I was just
So
really
true.
pumped for that. I was on the train that there was going to be a bard revealed in this, which
me
unfortunately
too.
didn't quite pan out, but I'm still holding out hope for soon. But yeah, and then just the fact that they mentioned that every single hero was getting support, like it can shore up some amount of weaknesses that some heroes, you know, especially like Katsu hasn't gotten official support since Welcome to Wraith / Crew, but mostly Welcome to Wraith. So I loved the opportunity for that. So yeah, I think even after all of that, and even though there was a little bit of a punch to it from the early leaks, which I wasn't super impressed about, I kind of pushed it out of my mind, and I'm still really, really hyped for this set. I can't wait to start opening it on Friday.
In the chat about how we feel about what kind of all transpired on Saturdays. Anyone want to throw out their opinions overall on how like the leaks from stores and, you know, box openings and things, what mindset that put you in?
I normally don't swear, and I'm not going to swear too much, but it was a goddamn shit show, man. Like,
Agreed.
I was not happy with it at all, and I didn't share any of it on any of my stuff because I didn't want people to go looking for it. I mean, and it's just like one thing after another, because there was the whoever leaking the legendaries and Fable. There was also Channel Fireball completely separate from that. doing that unauthorized stream, and then I've also heard that some European
Yeah, there were a few
streamed
others
something
actually
like 7
that streamed
hours
early.
Before that. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
like what the hell? Like, it was incredibly, as a huge fan of Flesh and Blood, it was incredibly disappointing because I know Legend Story Studios wants cards like the Fabled to be found organically by the community and have this like shared experience, and it just completely ruins that, and it made me really bummed. And when I saw that like Steven's card potentially got like leaked, I was like, he's like the only one who hasn't shared his video yet.
I was really unlucky. I posted it because I like doing the evening things because then I get to watch along with. Like if I post in the middle of the week and it's like during the day, then I'm at work, so I wouldn't get to share in that whole like feeling. For me, I'll tell you how I felt in general. I was just pent up with nerves. I was like, please don't notice I have a card still. Please don't notice. Please don't notice. And then the more I thought about it, the more I was like, you know what? If like the card gets like shared and spoiled, like deep down, that doesn't really affect me personally too much. Because I mean, and even if there is a spoiler that I'm gonna make, and the video doesn't go out like was what had happened, no one technically knows what card I'm going to spoil. And I kind of hoped that like I had done enough of the editing up front to like kind of fool people into thinking I was doing a Carnival card with the opening of the spoiler video, that hopefully it would still be a little bit of like a turn when it switched to the Kasai stuff. So after I kind of thought about it a little bit, I was like, you know what, it's if my card is out there floating around, then so be it. It is what it is. I still am gonna have a good time like watching people open, and so it didn't. I don't know. For me personally, it didn't hit as hard. But what you said, I felt exactly the entire day. I love it when like legendaries and fables get discovered by the community, and I hate that didn't happen with those cards. And technically, I guess the shield was spoiled by Rad Brad, which really stinks because like that was his spoiler the next hour. I was really bummed for him for that. But I do I don't know, I do think that like the spoiler of the Fabled and then the other legendaries was like a real bummer, because I love watching someone, like we talked about this before we went on, that moment when everyone was at the Calling Las Vegas and the guy opens Corsham and then shouts. That was incredible. And that's the kind of thing that we saw with like people discovering Shiana within the first couple of hours of crew being out. That same feeling of like, what? There's a shapeshifter? Like that kind of thing. I was kind of hoping we got that experience for. So what about you, Bill?
I was pretty bummed. I was trying to keep on top of it as much as possible, just because I know in our Discord, even for Magic stuff, we don't really like people posting leaks, just because, especially for spoiler season, it just kind of, it's just a bummer for content creators that have their stuff all lined up. Like the general consensus among the rest of the Spike feeders was like, we put so much work into our reveal video. If it got spoiled early, I would have just felt like I would have tried to keep it, like take it in stride as much as I could, but I would still feel so bad just inside.
By the way, your video was incredible. I love the like little retro video game aesthetic.
Dude, it felt like
so fun.
Felt like Monkey Island or something, like a 90s adventure game.
Okay, that's crazy. That's actually the aesthetic I was going for. In my head, I was like, okay, Monkey Island. Let's go.
So
that's
good.
Exactly what I got out of it. I'm like, this is Monkey Island.
Yeah, thank you. That's exactly what I was going for. But yeah, so yeah, again, we put so much work into that. Regardless of even how much work we really put into it, though, I still would have felt bad, because it's like, this is something that LSS gave to us that, it gives us an opportunity to at least do something cool or get a little bit of extra like foot traffic, whatever. And then just having some dude, especially with how like bored the guy was on the CFB box breaks stream.
I heard,
Like, I don't know, that also sealed it for me. It's like, especially if he looked at my card and was like, oh, neat, and then just put it aside, I would have been like, ow, like, come on, man. Like, it's weird.
We make weird connections, right? We make weird connections to cards and things that we spoil. It's a strange thing to spoil a card, because you're like, well, I would have probably looked at that card and gone, oh, that's cool. But then because we spend so many hours like editing a video, It's like, oh, that's a cool card. Like, you know what I mean? It's like a
Also-
weird thing.
Special.
Just about leaks in general, why are the pictures always taken with like the crappiest phones of all time? They're always
Actually,
like
a potato.
super pixelated. You know, to quote a famous Blizzard thing, "Don't you have phones?" Like, like
Yeah, I don't know. Hey, I will say this. So yes, Channel Fireball with regards to cracking the boxes early, like just crazy that would happen. I received a personal email saying from Channel Fireball saying incredibly sorry for the mistake. It was completely our fault. We dropped the ball. We very much want to apologize, and it was personally worded, which was very cool. And so there were a couple people that were like, blah blah blah, like Channel Fireball should do this or that in comments, and to their credit, for those people that were asking and saying this and that and all that, Channel Fireball literally reached out and sent a personal message to apologize for things that happened. And I thought that was really cool because at the end of the day, I mean, it's for me, it's just a video of a spoiler card, and that's what I made, right? But for them to reach out, I think that's the right thing to do, and kudos to them.
I also got an email. I think they sent an email, from what I'm hearing, to everyone who had a pack opening, as well.
That would make sense.
So yeah, I got an email too, and they said that they want to send me something to make it right. I don't know what they're gonna send, but this is something they didn't have to do, and yeah. I'll do a whole video on it, but yeah.
Indeed.
I definitely respect that because, I mean, you could definitely tell, especially from like Mashi Scanlan's video, however, it was like 45 minutes after the fact.
Yeah.
You could tell that like he was pretty mortified about it. It was definitely not intentional. So like it still sucks that it happened, but mistakes do happen.
I mean, they don't want to destroy the relationship with Legend Story Studios, right?
Well,
For sure.
Also people are human, and it may seem like the craziest mistake in the world, but everybody's going to have them. And at the end of the day, you've got to, I don't know. I feel very comfortable saying it's not a big deal, and just moving on after the fact. I know some people may not feel that way, but maybe that's just my personality overruling something else in me. But
I've had stuff like this happen, not to this extent, but like I've had people say like, "Oh yeah, it's this Friday," or "Oh yeah, it's Friday," and I'm like, "Oh, Friday, okay, cool." And then I show up the coming Friday, and they're like, "No, it's next Friday, not this Friday." That's what it feels like happened.
Yeah.
They're like, "Oh yeah, you can open it up on Friday," and they're like, "Cool, we'll do that," but they meant next Friday.
Okay, so I want to touch on this question that was just put in the comments because I think this question's incredible. First of all, Cody Davis coming in with $5 just to ask this question. I don't know if you're doing it just to ask the question, but if you are, you could have just asked the question. I would have answered it because it's fantastic anyway. But this just makes you even cooler in my book. The question is this: with the Blitz support, would you like to see big tournaments require players to bring a CC hero, and assuming like a CC deck, and a different hero for Swiss Blitz rounds? I think that would be incredible. I think if you think about like the way that Legend Story Studios structures large-scale tournaments already, there's a portion that you have to play draft in. The argument being that you should be a well-rounded player to, win these high-level events. The question becomes, can you extrapolate that same thing out to Blitz? And the argument that I see against this, or I have seen against this back before the callings happened, was like Blitz is a much more formulaic and uninteractive format because there's no like ability to sideboard against your opponent, and sometimes you just go up against something that just hard counters you and you lose. But I love Blitz. I would love to see something worked out like that. What about you guys?
I think it's very interesting. It reminds me a lot of, and I don't know if this person is asking this question from this perspective, but there's a Star Wars card game that doesn't exist anymore. But you would go to events and you would bring a light side deck and you'd bring a dark side deck because you don't know if you'd be playing light side or dark side. That's kind of what it reminds me of. And I mean, that sounds pretty cool. I mean,
I agree.
Yeah. What about you, Bill?
I think that is definitely an interesting consideration, but I do think, as much as I love Blitz, it's my main format. I think I've played like half a dozen games of CC maybe total, and then the rest of it is Blitz. I do agree that Blitz is it's like very feast or famine, very like sometimes one-sided. Games can be decided pretty quickly, and you don't have as much of a buffer for, you know, the thing that me and my friends always say is in CC, it's like, oh, somebody has a really good first turn, they attack you for like 15, and you're like, okay, cool, like take it, and then you can have like a pretty decent crackback. But in Blitz, if you do that, you just like die to Runeblade and to stuff that can go over the top.
Yep.
So I would I would like to see that, especially like as you said, Steven, the fact that they like players to be a little bit more well-rounded instead of just like practicing for CC. They can also have limited or whatever. I would like to see it. I think for that to happen and for me to be comfortable with it, I would like maybe some change to how Blitz games are done. Like maybe switch it to like a best of 3. But I don't even know if that really changes anything, especially for matchups that are just completely unwinnable.
I think you need a sideboard. I think you have to have some sort of some way to pivot against specific matchups.
More than your equipment,
Yeah, I think that's not even an unreasonable ask to have a sideboard in Blitz. I agree. Even if it's like half as much as you would get in CC, just being able to swap out like defense reactions against Wizard, I think that like is good enough.
And this has nothing to do with Everfest, but I could totally see a Hearthstone-esque tournament structure where you bring 3 Blitz decks, you vote it down, and then you pivot. I could totally see something like that being a thing, because then you play, you end up playing like a best of 2 or best of 3. And you have some pivot choices there because you can kind of build a lineup that allows you to pivot around. So I can totally see that. It's totally not related to Everfest at all, and we do have points that we were going to talk about, but this is also a cool conversation, and that's what we're here to do, just hang out.
See, I like that as a solution more than the sideboard thing, because it still makes Blitz unique as a format, right? Not just like tiny CC. So I really like that. It makes it way more unique and fun. So
and I agree with that too.
Maybe we'll do that in the Discord. That's a good idea. I need to start writing all of these ideas down. We're running Discord like Blitz events and like commoner events and some other stuff. I think we're doing like have you guys heard of Flesh and Blood Arena, that format where it's a 2-hero format and you build a 60 card deck, a singleton, mixed with 2 of like the classes, 2 different classes. We're gonna try that on Thursday. It's gonna be interesting. So maybe we'll do a Hearthstone style 3-deck lineup thing where it's like a best of 3. Okay, I'm going to shift us back to Everfest because I do want to talk about a lot of these points, because some of these questions, to me, I'm really curious as your answers. What's your favorite card spoiled so far?
Oh crap! Let me get the.
You have to answer. My favorite card spoiled so far is the one with me on. No, it's not. It's not the one with me on. No. My favorite card spoiled so far, I think it could very well be 100 Wins.
Really?
I love 100 Wins. I think that is such a cool card.
Is 100 Wins the one that you like gets powered up the more you play it?
Yeah, the more you play 100 Wins, and it's already got built-in, baked-in go again. So even if it doesn't hit, you can just go again, play another one. That might be my favorite. But then again, I think and this is going to be hard because I'm curious if you guys just say your spoiler cards too. Blood on Our Hands fits me so perfectly because I want to play Kasai.
I'm really trying not to pick my spoiler card. I'm looking through the gallery and I'm like, I gotta find something that's not. Oh, okay, I do have picks that are not my spoiler card. I got to the Illusionist section and I was like, oh yes, these cards are awesome. So there's a couple Illusionist cards that I freaking love. I think I'm gonna go with, for now, Fractal Replication.
Oh, this card's so good.
It's like everything that I love. It's like everything that Mutated Mass wished it was. It's like cost 0, has like this variable attack, takes the abilities from other things. It's just so cool. It does so much stuff. I love it. And the art is really good too. So it's like the complete package, right? Art's really good, really cool effect, really fun and unique effect, new design space. I love it. Sweet card.
It's way better than Dreadbore, right? Way better than Dreadbore.
It's different.
Yeah, not even in the same level.
It's different. Dreadbore, especially combined, I will mention, Dreadbore, especially combined with the Release the Tension and Remorseless,
I haven't actually looked at Release the Tension.
Yeah, I saw it.
What does that card do?
It makes it so
it's not in the gallery.
It's a pump that also makes it so that defense reactions can't be played from Arsenal. So combined with Dreadbore, it just means that no defense reactions can be played at all. And so it's just a way. It's a whole archetype, right? You're going tall and you're making it so your on hit effects hit no matter what. That's basically what the archetype is going to be. So yeah, I think it's cool. But for me, I really like the fractal replication. It's so sweet.
Yeah.
What about you, Bill?
I'm like frantically trying to, because the spoiler thing doesn't have all the cards yet, so I'm like, I'm forgetting some of them. But
and I'm looking on my phone, so I'm just scrolling down individually, and I will mention
there's so many unknowns.
Yeah, and I will mention a little like behind the scenes stuff while Bill searches. In the thick of things, like for coverage or whatever, if you have to look on your phone to find a card, this just takes
not good.
It takes a million years. You're like, oh,
it's really tough.
I don't remember exactly what the card says, but it's like super blurry on the tiny screen. Like, yeah.
What's up, Deck Edge? How's it going, man?
How's it going, Jason?
Super good. Jason's amazing. You should check out Deck Edge. Super good.
He's really good.
For like boxes, products,
really good pricing.
Like that.
Yeah.
Amazing. Bill, you got it.
Really
it's okay to say your spoiler card.
Yeah.
It's okay.
I mean,
it's okay.
Well, yeah, obviously I like our spoiler card. I think that
sweet.
Ready to Roll like changes how KO changes how KO like is in general. Like it makes him so much more consistent. I think out of a lot of the cards, except for maybe some of the ninja ones, I think Ready to Roll might be like the most impactful that I've seen. Like I don't know, that might be some amount of bias, but yeah, I really like it from that standpoint. I really like Microprocessor because I just want to play Daredevil and EPFs more.
So cool.
The crew specializations, they're all like kind of insane. Like they're all just like really powerful.
Yeah. Which I think is beautiful, which is really, really good. The Benji one's insane.
It's gross. The Benji one basically reads, "You have to block me." That's what the card reads. You have to block me.
Yeah.
It's the Benji one is so gross, and then I think like my official vote for my favorite card from Everfest right now is Mask of the Pouncing Lynx.
Yo, let's go.
It's like like I'm actually so jealous that you pulled.
It's so sweet. It's so sweet, man.
Like it's so cool. The art is incredible. Sam Yang, shout out. The effect is so interesting, and it actually competes for the slot of Mask of Momentum. Like it's just so good in my eyes. I love Mask of the Pouncing Lynx, and I can't wait to get a cold foil one.
I would say imagine in cold foil. Oh, yeah, top tier.
They opened it on spoiler. Oh, I shouldn't say it. One of the channels that opened a box opened it. I won't say who, but go watch it. Go watch the videos.
I know who it is then because there's only one that I haven't watched yet.
Yeah. Okay. This question was asked in chat, and it's actually one of the points we were going to cover because it's from one of my mods on my Discord. The man himself, Hunt Seeker 27, coming in with the $4.99. Also, amazing dude, and throwing that out there. I guess just to get his comments seen, but I saw it while I was scrolling and I had it pinned. How are you feeling about the amount of items and merchant equipment in this set, both in terms of opening bulk / meta usefulness? What do you guys think about all the items that are in this set? I think it's fun. I think it's also interesting that they could be setting up the possibility of something like an alchemist in the future, where like they just slip this in and then all of a sudden you have a bunch of firepower to use. Yeah, I feel like there's some sort of extenuating circumstance or something that they're building towards with it. But even if they're not, the side of the Everfest box apparently says like trinkets and like doodads galore and all this stuff, and buy all your things. And so it makes sense, like you're going around and picking up people's wares from different shops and things like that. So I like it from a thematic sense. And well, I didn't open a potion. Did you guys open a potion?
No, I opened Tannen's card, High Striker, and then I
opened Smashing Good Time.
Oh, it's a Pleasant Kenobi spoiler card.
It was, yeah. It was a smashing good time when I opened it.
I like the little critter.
We didn't get a pack.
I like the little
I know,
Stitch
and I'm angry for it now. So it was weird. It was like we both didn't get a potion, and I'm okay with that because I feel like I'll open enough of the set to like collect all the potions. But I kind of want to get the potions because I kind of want to force potions.
There's some sweet potions too. There's so many. Like I agree with Steven about the potions. Also, they seem pretty hard to pull any specific one. If you've watched any of the box openings yet, there was like no duplications, and they definitely didn't pull all of them. So like to get all the potions, to get a playset of them, it's going to require like a lot of boxes, or just buy singles. You know, they're probably going to be not super expensive as singles, but I think it's cool. I think it's a really interesting design space. There haven't been a lot of, you know, this kind of stuff prior. I mean, we've had, you know, your talisman of dowsing and, you know, your energy potions and whatnot. But I think it's a lot of cool design space. And I think Steven is 100% right that they could definitely be setting up for something big in the future. Like, who knows? Maybe we go to the pits next and there's like an alchemist or something. I don't know. Like, I think the potential's there.
Yeah, that's the one thing that I think a lot of people might be missing, especially because I see a lot of naysayers just, you know, on Discord, Reddit, elsewhere, that are like, oh, well, like this set sucks. It has so many potions that are so medium and blah, blah, blah. It's like, I don't know, it's opening up design space. Like that's, to me, I think that's like the perfect thing that a supplemental set could do. Because imagine if this was in like a main set. It's like in Tales of 100%. Aria, you could open 20 different potions. Like, I don't know, that feels much worse than having this just be a supplemental set with support for people. And like, what if the next set is to the pits or to metrics, and have it be like relevant somehow, where there's like a mechanologist that cares about specific types of potions that like fuel like, I don't know, machines or something. Like there's a lot of places that I think they could go. And I'm really excited for that specifically. Like right now, I do agree that the potions are like kind of medium. There's a couple that are like really, really good just on their own. But I think the support for them, at least even just the idea of support for them, is really exciting.
I will say this too. I do think that maybe as a US community, we've since the beginning of the game really kind of dismissed more often than not the idea of playing potions, and it might be because we really saw the hugest growth of the US player base during like Blitz announcements and Blitz season, where potions are a little harder to establish. But if you're playing a lot of CC, I feel like you do have a little bit more time to establish a potion or two, or, you know, an item like an amulet, that sort of stuff. So if there are those items that do have very specific benefits in certain matchups, it may just find its way into the sideboard, and then you try to windmill slam it down when you're not getting Briar beat to death, you know? So it could be interesting. It could have some play in the sideboard going forward.
I think potions could eventually also just, or, you know, the items in general could have a place, because there's something to be said for playing like a defensive strategy where you just build a giant board and then have an amazing turn. Like play super defensively and build a giant board and just have one massive, disgusting turn. Also, I think they're really fun for casual play and like multiplayer play. Yeah,
totally.
For sure.
They totally are.
UPF, these fit straight in.
Yeah,
I would definitely try some of these out in UPF. I think a lot of them like are really interesting in UPF, just for like weird niche things that you have a lot of fun with. So sure. I'm looking forward to that. This question was asked as well, and I wanted to get back to this one because this was, I think, tied in. Oh, no, this one was interesting, though. Should LSS... Tom Rose, by the way, $5. People are paying money. I don't know why they... I love it, though. You're great people. You're fantastic. And so we're going to answer this question. Should LSS add time to the length of competitive matches, like 10 minutes or so, to lower the number of draws? In my opinion, draw games generally only need a little bit more. You know what? It's funny that you mentioned that, because I was at a local game store. I was at Reaper Game Store, run by Bill, but not this Bill, the other Bill that runs Reaper Game Store. And we were at the Farewell to Welcome to Wraith, which is just a mouthful to say. It was so much fun. And he runs all of his things at 35 minutes, or he did last night. He ran all of his things at 35 minutes. And one of the reasons was he literally said, I found that all my draws got cleared up by adding 5 extra minutes. What do you guys think about that?
Interesting. I mean, if there's evidence to support that, I mean, that seems pretty cool. Draws are, I mean...
Well, we had no draws yesterday.
As someone, I did play in one of the calling events. I played in Orlando before I scrubbed out and did coverage, and I did end up drawing, you know, and it does feel bad, like, especially when, you know, we're both trying to play the fastest, and my opponent was Oldham, of course, but, you know, it just happens. So it does feel bad, so I understand where people are coming from for this. the downside of this is you don't want events to take like a million years, right? Like there's a lot of fatigue, and events, especially like big events like the calling, last a long time anyway. But 5 minutes, I don't know if 5 minutes is too much. 5 minutes might be good. Yeah.
We actually have something where we kind of overshot that a little bit. One of my local game stores for their Blitz events actually has 45-minute rounds.
Ooh.
And it was for the same reason. They didn't want to go to time, but that's like the reason why. And I'm not trying to like make fun of any of our local players or anything, but they are newer, and a couple of them do playing
that makes sense.
Oldhim. So like Oldhim plus new, especially when there's so many like just decision lines and everything. The games do last a lot longer, and as somebody who is more comfortable with the game, it is a little bit painful, because I think there was literally, I was playing Ira because I wanted the promo, and I think my round 2
No judgment here.
I think my round 2 lasted 7 minutes, so I was sitting around for like over half an hour waiting for the next round, and so like that felt bad. But there is something to be said about being accommodating for newer players that aren't quite as comfortable in just the ins and outs of the game. So
yeah, I agree.
It's a good question. That's a good question.
It reminds me of a conversation I had with, I forget his name, I'm sorry, but he's the winner of the Calling Orlando, who won with Oldhim, and I was chatting with him before they did the little interview, and I was just chatting with him about random stuff, and he was saying that he really had to get people to play faster, and he wasn't trying to push them anything, but he knew that his deck would take a long time to get through, and so he was playing as fast as he could and trying to get his opponent to also play very fast. And so if one of the, he won the Calling, so it's safe to say he's like a very, very skilled player. Like if he's saying this, then it's probably a good idea to increase it a little bit.
Yeah, and 5 minutes is
Bill
good.
Patrick says you're a big bully.
Oh yeah, no, but I'm a big bully to him specifically. He's a regular in our Discord.
That's funny. Sorry for interrupting you, Bill. I just had to tell you you're a big bully. Thanks to the chat.
So mean. Bill's so mean. If he's known for anything, it's his cruelty.
That's right.
No, it's just true. It's just true. So we have another paying customer.
Outlaw Paul wants us to answer his question too, which is awesome. Thank you, Paul. Outlaw Paul. You know Paul. He says, "What's the take on the all the new ways to make I didn't even say the question right. Scratch all of that. What's
Seismic surge
on all the new way to make Seismic smurged tokens? What do you guys think about? Sorry, this is not water. It's pure alcohol. No,
just
Everclear. Just sipping Everclear out of a straw.
No, my water failed me that time. I'm starting to feel the throat strain. What do you guys think on all the new ways to make Seismic Surge tokens, also known as Seismic Surge token?
Of course, as you know. I am actually really excited for them. I think more than the average player. I actually put together an old Bravo Star of the Show deck that leveraged just as much possible like incidental card draw with the new chess piece to be able to like, the only attacks that I played are like the 6+ attacks, and then everything else was like, blue electrify, blue sow tomorrow, like all these things that like just draw cards. And I haven't gotten to try it yet. It's probably not great, but it's like really cool, and that's what I care about. So I'm really pumped for it. I think that Seismic Surges are just really strong.
It allows you to play Pulverize and Pummel at the same time, and that scares me.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
exactly.
I think here's what I think. I think this is really smart game design. And I think it's smart game design because they're power creeping their expensive cards with Majestics. So to a certain degree, you could argue that this card is perhaps as good as Tectonic Plating from Welcome to Wraith, which is now out of print. We've been given a Majestic equipment, not a legendary piece of equipment, but a Majestic equipment that if you build around it, may be just as good, if not better, than Tectonic Plating. So a new player doesn't necessarily have to go and chase down the old card. And just like you're doing, it's the exact same scenario with Mask of the Pouncing Lynx. We have a card here at Majestic in this set that can rival and perhaps be preferred over Mask of Momentum if you don't want to pay for a Mask of Momentum, or if you just happen to open a Mask of the Pouncing Lynx. The power level is there. And now if you have both, you have the option to switch. And if you don't have both and you have the one that's newer, well, you don't have to necessarily go out and chase that because you just build the deck slightly differently. I think that's incredibly smart, which is why I liked this question. So good on you for this question, Outlaw Paul. Nice question.
I agree 100%. I think it's really cool design space. Instead of like directly power creeping, you have like side grades. I think it's cool.
Yeah, I think that's the way to go for this sort of stuff. Like that was one of the weirdest things when I first started getting into the game, and I was opening Welcome to Wraith, and I opened all these tokens, and it's like, okay, Quicken tokens you get from Flock of the Featherwalkers, and like these other ones, and then you see seismic surges, and
there you go. See, pass it around,
and you're looking at them, and you're like, okay, well, like what makes these? How do I get these? And it's like, oh, you can only get them from the legendary equipment for Guardian. And that felt just strange, that the set would include a token for something that you assume would be common, and it's like locked behind the legendary. So
that's really well put. I hadn't thought about it that way.
Yeah, it's just like, it was strange. So I do like the fact that they're adding more accessible ways to get these things, and as you said, like they're adding side grades that are equally, like maybe not completely equally good, but like they're both very good, and you can build to make either one the better one. So yeah, I really like what they're doing, and I hope they continue to do it.
Yeah, I agree. Hey, this question was just brought up by another mod on my Discord, Breezy. He says, curious about y'all's take on the Carnival slot. I have that down for us to talk about as well. What are your thoughts overall on Carnival slot and how it played out with the idea that I'm pretty sure we can all agree now that it's just as simple as it's one of the rares or better that's going to be Carnival themed or potion-y or something to that effect. And it can still be cold foil, right?
Yeah.
And it can still be a rainbow foil, I think. It can still be a rainbow foil. It'll fall in the rainbow foil slot. Because I've seen some people pull the rainbow.
I think
the rainbow high striker.
Yeah, I think the rainbow foil slot can have carnival slot cards. But if the carnival slot has a cold foil, then it's in the carnival slot, is what I've seen from some of the box openings, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
I think Steven, his assessment is right. It's, rares are higher that are carnival themed, or things that you could win at a carnival, like the items and trinkets and baubles.
Sure. What do you guys think about that?
There's gonna be a crap load of cold foils, man. If every single potion and amulet has a cold foil, that's a ton of cold foils.
I think the number is 30 cold foils in this set.
Yeah, that's a lot of cold foils. I think it's cool. I've seen, I think, who opened 2? Fluke? Did Fluke open 2? Someone opened up 2 cold foils in their box. And I think
almost every box has had 2 cold foils.
Which is fun. I think that's really fun. Like getting 2 cold foils in a box is really fun.
I agree.
People really like cold foils. I don't know. I like it. It's less flashy than a lot of people guessed, but a lot of people kind of you were shooting for the moon for the carnival slot. I think they were like, "Oh, it's gonna be." It's like reprints of every legendary, and it's like, no, it's not that.
Yeah, that was gonna be way too aggressive if that was the case.
Yeah, I agree with that. I didn't think they'd go that heavy. I did think that we would see like a CNC reprint, but maybe we see that in some other way, shape, or form. Maybe it's something to do with the Q2 announcement.
I think
that's going to be like something else, though.
I would personally like to see stuff like CNC and Enlightened Strike reprinted as Majestics with the current Majestic pull rates in like a main set. A set that's going to be opened a ton and drafted a ton, and that's going to be like the best way to get the most, out to people. I think that's what I would like to see. That's cards.
Smart. Put it in a draftable set so that people can draft it. Yeah.
As somebody who just completed their set of foil Enlightened Strikes and foil CNCs, I completely agree. I want people to have more ready access to these cards. I literally don't care if my investment goes down. Like, I bought them because I think they're cool. I'm not trying to flex on people. Well, like a little bit, but
yeah, you can flex. It's okay. Just give us a little bit of that.
But but like, I want people to have these. It really bums me out to see really any person comment like, oh, I feel priced out of Flesh and Blood because like the Majestics are too expensive, the Legendaries are too expensive. I saw somebody yesterday on Twitter, I can't remember his name, I feel bad about that, but he said that he didn't feel like he was welcome in Flesh and Blood because his main deck, Katsu, feels unplayable, and if he wanted to play Prism, he needs Library, and it's like a $350 card. And I just I really vehemently disagree with that. I don't think that Library is a necessary card, and it saddens me to see people have that mindset where it's like, if I want to play a competitive Prism deck, I need to spend X amount of dollars.
Yeah.
Because I feel like this game specifically has a lot of room for player expression, like actual skill expression within the game. And it's not always completely reliant on whether or not you can, if you're a wallet warrior and decide to spend as much money as possible on your line of credit to be competitive. But
yeah, or you're insane like me and just buy like 6 cases of every set just because you want to open up everything. And for me, it's a little bit easier to justify, but I understand, I mean, like, I remember how, like, I was in college at one point playing Magic, and it was like, I've been in that position, right? Where you'd like, I can't afford to buy 4 Snapcaster Mages or whatever. So I do want people to have all these cards too. That's why I want them printed at the current Majestic pull rates in a draftable set, because I'm sure they will go down in price if that happens.
Oh yeah, I mean, the moment they reprint it, it'll go down in price overall. But if they do that in the current model where it's not supers and majestics, they'll definitely hit. This question just came through. Michael, coming in with the $5, says, "Do you think we'll get a talent-based supplemental set in the future?" Basically, yes. I'm just assuming that he means that we're going to see a supplemental set that includes talent cards, or maybe it's just focused on talents. I think that's a fantastic idea, and one that I was kind of surprised, actually. That's something we can talk about. I was surprised we didn't see any talent cards, and instead we saw more of these, like items make it into the sets. I sat down at one point, and I was going to make a video on this, but I didn't feel like I had enough of the stuff broken down before spoiler season crept up. I tried to chart out all the possible cycles that we could have for each class and everything based on the numbers. And there was room for them to do a run of each of the talents, like the elemental keyword. There was room for them to do like cycles of each of those cards, or 2 cycles in some cases. But instead, we see these items, and so I was kind of interested to see what you guys thought about that, because I expected them, and I was surprised to see that there aren't talent cards.
I also expected to see talents, but I'm actually happy that there's not. I really like that everything is more generic and all heroes can play them, and it really fits in what they were saying, like there's support for every hero, not just for your shadow or light or elemental stuff. So I really like that, and it gives you reasons to play and test out the old heroes, like Katsu, like you mentioned Katsu a few times. So I really actually kind of like that they didn't have talent stuff. To some extent, I was expecting some. I was actually really expecting some. To the actual question, I think it would be awesome to have a set like dedicated to talents, like a supplementary set dedicated to talents. But I wouldn't want to see it until we have more talents. Because if it was just like elemental and then monarch talents, that's kind of like, But I would love it to see like once we get a couple more talents in, and then just have a big old set with a bunch of them. That'd be really sweet. Yeah.
I fully agree. Because if it was just like, especially with the way that supplementary sets have been, like, historically, with Crew and now Everfest, each of the heroes get, like, a pretty tight set of cards, where it's, like, each of them have been getting, 4-ish Majestics, and then, like, 3 rares and 3 commons or something like that. I don't know the actual numbers. But they get, like, a small amount of things. If it was, just for talents, and it was only 5 different talents, even though there are different like classes within those, I feel like it would feel like there's a lot more like air in the set. There's just a more space. And I feel like with supplemental sets, they should feel like maybe a little bit cramped, not too cramped, but still like a decent amount of individual cards. So yeah, I think I'm really holding out hope that there's going to be like a lightning ninja, or like we're going to get wind or something similar. Like we're going to get more elements or whatever.
Yeah.
I think once we've fleshed that out a little bit more, I would absolutely love a talent-based supplemental set. I think that would be so sick, especially because then Lexi would get more support. I love Lexi, so.
Actually, there was someone in chat that said that they were bummed that Lexi can't use some of the arrows as well, because they're like the more generic arrows seem to be more tailor-made for Azalea. And it reminded me of a question even further up in the chat where I thought was a literal perfect question for Kel, because it was like, do you think Azalea now has enough pieces to feel really competitive? So Kel, do you think Azalea now has enough pieces to feel really competitive?
Competitive, but not really competitive, I think, at initial glance. I think Azalea is going to be out of the meme tier now, but I don't think she's going to be top tier yet. Yuki Lee, who was the Canadian Nationals winner who won with Lexi, she commented on my video for Dreadbore and was like, nice to see some more Ranger support, but she basically had the sentiment that it'd be nice to see some more to make it like truly, like A tier or S tier, however you want to rank it. And I agree. I think there's some really nice stuff in there. And I have seen one of the leaked Majestic cards. I don't forget what it's called, but it's sick for a go wide strategy. It's really sick for a go wide strategy. And I think the potential's there for a couple different decks. I think there's a go tall hate bears style deck that just makes it really, really hard for your opponent to block, and then you rely on these on hit effects that are really debilitating. And then there's a really go wide wombo combo deck with that new triple shot, and then you can add in stuff like rapid fire to give all your arrows go again, and then 3 of a kind, so you can string together a turn that's disgusting, where you 3 of a kind and then triple shot, and then maybe if you draw another triple shot, and if you have enough resources, you can just plow through like a ton of arrows. And the Majestic that was leaked it gives you like +2, I think, to all of your arrows for the entire turn, and so you can just do these wombo combo turns. I don't know how good it's going to be, but I think it's going to be fun to build and try, and I think the potential's there now. I think that's like the most important thing. The potential's there now, and it's not just a meme. So that's where I stand.
I think that's absolutely true. I think that the go wide Majestic, like you said, is going to be really good. I find myself whenever I play Levia,
it's an instant too.
It's an instant. I say Levia because somebody asked a question about Levia, and I want to talk about it very quickly in a bit, just so that, because they're saying someone with $1 whisper in their ears, let's talk about Levia. You don't need to pay to ask us questions. We will see.
No, you don't. Here's the great thing. We have so many questions that I'm just trying to like figure out what we're going to ask next and then talk about next. Because you guys are literally like bombing us with the coolest questions. Like there's one from the card guys that I want to talk about. There's like one down here, the one you mentioned. Like all of these are so cool, man. Good questions.
There's so many great questions. We have some of them written down from thoughts that Steven was mentioning before we started. But, but anyway, when I'm playing Lexi, I find myself very frequently wanting to go second, doing the double arsenal, and then cracking perch grapplers to just like have a 5 or 6 wide turn. And so with the addition of that new Majestic, just getting +2 on those, even if it means I can only do 4, it's a buff of 8 total across those 4.
The fact that it's an instant is so sick too, because they don't see it coming. You can just pop it down after the declared blocks.
Exactly.
Oh, it's so sweet.
Like, I'm really excited to see how she plays now. Really, I don't know. I really want to have these cards in hand so that I can start to really absorb them in my cerebrus, so that I can like really figure out what they mean for the strategies that I like.
I think some of the on-hit effects are like absolutely debilitating for some classes.
For sure.
So like Remorseless hitting any go wide is like disgusting, or even like Red in the Ledger hitting some classes, Sleep Dart hitting Levia or whatever. Like, there's some nice things out there. So yeah.
Man, so many good questions. Okay, I'm gonna do the one from the card guys previously up towards the chat. Said, what do you guys think about the heroes being printed in the Majestic rarity? I think I don't know, I feel kind of torn on it, because like the Majestic rarity does mean that less people are going to, on average open that specific one, but it doesn't necessarily guarantee that, because they can mess with the pull rates on certain cards, right? So they could technically change the pull rate on that specific Majestic towards others. But I want to know what you guys think. What do you think about that being Majestics?
The pull rates are hard to say because I've watched a couple of the official box openings, and those are the ones I will talk about. So like one person, FAB Unseals Chris Sires opened 2 of them in his box, and then Fluke opened 0. So who knows what really the pull rates are? It's going to be hard to say without a sample size. I'm also torn on it. I think it makes it more exciting to pull one, but it might like value people out of the heroes. That's one of the things I really like about Flesh and Blood, by the way, as opposed to other games that I've played where like heroes are not big money cards outside of Shiana, of course. Shiana doesn't count.
Yeah.
Like everyone you can just get a Lexi, right? If you want to play Lexi, you can just get one. It's a token. But like Bravo Star of the Show, I don't know, he might be like $20, so or more. I don't really know how it's going to shake out. So I think it'll be exciting. It makes it exciting to pull, especially foils. But I understand the getting priced out of it, especially if they're like super competitive.
Yeah.
That's something that I actually mentioned in one of our group chats when we were talking about just the preview season and everything. I mentioned to Kel that I hope that they don't do the same thing that they did in Everfest, where they have tokens in like the common and rare slot. And you had already opened your pack. You had opened a Frostbite. And you were just like, oh, that's weird that you say that. So I kind of have that thought.
I will say
about
for these, by the way, they seem to be really rare to pull. Out of all the boxes that I opened, I've only seen people pull tokens a couple times and never like a lot of duplicates. So these do seem to be hard to pull, at least. So you're not going to be swimming in them. So at least there's that.
So that's nice, at least that they're like short printed, probably even maybe a little bit more short printed than they were in Crew.
And getting foils would be cool, by the way. I would love a foil prospect.
Foils, that's the one thing that I am very excited about, to have them in the common slot, is to get like, foil spectral shields, foil.
It feels good to get. It feels really good to get foil tokens, which is a weird thing to say, but it really does feel good.
I kind of wish they just didn't do the normal tokens and just only did foil tokens, right?
I think that for me would be the optimal situation. But yeah, so for the heroes as well, I kind of feel the same way. I think that right now the only hero that should be in a non-token slot is maybe Shiana. And to me, like, it does kind of feel bad, especially because you're technically pricing people out of a hero. But it's kind of like the Fableds, where she's kind of a meme hero. And the Fableds are like kind of meme cards, like they're collector's cards.
Well, they did the same thing with Crew for all of the rare heroes, right? So everyone except Shiana. And so now they're doing it in the Majestic slot. So they may just have moved it around for, the variety's sake and to keep people on their toes. I wonder, it'll be interesting to see the playability of these, because look at the heroes that there are. There's Icelander, which I've played, and it was a lot of fun to play. You could definitely build a Blitz deck and play that as your main, but you're not playing it in CC, so you're not worried too much about that. You have who's the other hero?
So it's Icelander, Volda Bright
besides
Axe.
Bravo. Volda, there you go.
Volda. And then there's the one we've kind of officially seen it, because Ian was
That's
allowed.
Not in this set though. I don't think that's in the set.
I think it is though.
I think he is. We saw the promo version.
We
saw the promo, right?
If you look at the spoiler screen, there's still a question mark slot that has 2 blank spaces. I think it's Merchant. I think those 2 blank spaces are Merchant. I think it's the hero plus the other one, and on the hero page, there's still a blank space for the hero.
Oh, they haven't updated it still, right? Okay.
Yeah. So
if that is still in the set, then it would be the Merchant hero as well. So for me, and this comment was made actually by the card guys. The card guys said earlier, they should put these heroes in the token slot, and unless they are less playable, and perhaps we're seeing that they are less playable in general, and so they are more of like a chase kind of fun card. But Bravo Star of the Show is playable in CC, is playable. Well, technically, I guess can't be played in Blitz because you don't have a young version of it. But is playable in CC. So that one I do think is like, whoa.
I think the pull rates will be interesting, because for Crew, even the rare heroes, they were short printed. It was pretty hard to actually pull a bunch of them, right? You'd maybe get like 1 or 2 in a box. And so it'll be interesting to see if it's like how similar that is here with these heroes. Even though they're Majestic, I mean, once you open up a bunch of boxes, I guess you'll find out.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if because I definitely think that it's possible that they just like long printed them and not short printed them.
Could be.
They may end up being more available than we think, even though they're in the Majestic slot. But it is a good question, nonetheless.
I'm just glad they're doing this in a supplementary set and not like a main set, right? Like,
Yeah.
if they do this at all, this is the place to do it. Yeah, that's.
Oh,
Yeah,
look,
like
he has been updated. He is now there.
Oh,
That's
Genus,
cool.
Genus, what you
Yeah.
need? Yeah,
He indeed is there.
I do like his name, to be completely
it's
honest.
sweet. I think it's a reference to a dear friend of James's. So yeah, I think it's really cool. I think the whole card is just super cool.
Indeed. Let's see. Let's scroll back up and grab another question because we got some good ones up here. I guess while I find another question, I'll ask one of the questions I wrote down. Which of the heroes or classes do you think got the biggest boost from what we've seen so far, or which one do you think got the biggest loss? Is that the right way to say it? The biggest drop.
The least amount
biggest
of support.
drop.
The least
maybe.
biggest
I don't know.
boost.
I think it's for me for the biggest buff. It's probably, to me, I think it's Benji specifically, like Ninja in general, but I think Benji specifically between all of the other ninjas. I think that Benji got the biggest buff, and then I also think that I honestly haven't been paying attention to the Guardian stuff.
Guardian's the meme, right? Guardian's what everyone's saying. That's like Guardian. It's Guardian Fest, right? I think
Guardian's
Guardian,
the new Runeblade.
Yeah, well, we'll see. I mean, that's yet to be seen.
Runeblade's the new Runeblade.
I've seen some people really, really stoked about the Illusionist cards. I've seen some, and these are like high-level players, like Tarek Patel, really stoked about the new Illusionist cards. And if people like him are really excited for them, that means they probably got a significant like boost.
Yeah, means the real deal.
Wizard, I think, got some really spicy and scary stuff.
Wizard got some great stuff, and I think there's still some people that are kind of perhaps down on Wizard, but man, some of the cards that I watched some people open in the box opening videos that got passed around, in Rudy's video, and a couple of others pulled it because I think it's just a common. The crazy looking beautiful card, like Timekeeper's
Whim.
I think it's Timekeeper's Whim.
The one that looks like
card is
Salvador Dali.
Insanely interesting.
I
it looks like
love
Salvador
that
Dali.
art. That style is phenomenal.
That card is really interesting because it deals Arcane. If it's played on your opponent's turn, it goes to the bottom of your deck, so it like pitch stacks for you. Very interesting.
I will say this. This is gonna hurt a lot of Wizard players. Wizard is the one class that I don't want to see number one, because if it does, it's gonna be disgusting. Like absolutely, it's the one class that I could see being truly disgusting, like more than Briar. Like, because you can do like gross stuff with arcane damage, and I don't know. After playing other games,
I disagree.
I feel it's like the most breakable if they don't do it right.
No, I think the same thing can be said of Illusionist, and I think the same thing can be said of
probably
Runeblade, because they all do similar stuff.
Wizard scares me the most.
They can instant speed on you, they can deal arcane damage on you, except Wizard is the only one that can do one of those things well. And Illusionist and Runeblade can do both of them well.
It's just,
I think
design-wise, it just scares me the most. I think it's a slippery slope.
Yeah, the thing that bothers me is you can kind of see like a microcosm of what Wizard can do when you look at Kano in Blitz, where he's like a top tier hero because he can count to 20 really easily. If he gets to go second, he technically gets like 2 turns in a row because of how just Wizard works in general.
It's very like it can be very non-interactive too. It's like pitch your cards to prevent the arcane barrier, and that's it. Like for the opponent, and then
no, I disagree. I disagree with these. I feel very passionate disagreement towards both of these statements that are being made by you, but I'm keeping myself together, just breathing deeply.
I respect that. I respect that. That's why we're here. It's a round table.
I'm
it's
just,
not an echo chamber.
No, I'm totally kidding. But no, I actually disagree with both of those points. But it doesn't actually. I mean, to a certain degree, you're correct in some ways, and I do think it's a little bit more intricate than that. And I do think this too. this set has given Wizard more counterplay, where if we're looking at Wizard and CC, Wizard can only do one thing, period, until this set. They can only do one thing, and they can only count to whatever number you're setting it to, because there is no counterplay card, right? There is no like suite of cards that I can sideboard in. No, I'm just gonna play these whatever number of cards, and I have like a handful of sprinkling, and then I'm just gonna see if I win or if I just explode. Because again, the counterplay is, if I'm sitting across a Wizard, how many null rune? When do I pitch to stop? When do I expect them to try and go off? Do I want to force cards out of the hand now? Do I want to play a large attack? So there is a ton of interplay and a ton of choices that you have to make as the opponent. But for the Kano player, you're like, all right, if you attack me right now, I'm probably either just gonna die or have to pay all my cards and then die. Or win. But now Wizard players may have some counterplay because of some of the cards that we've seen in this set, like things that can destroy spectral shields or auras.
Aren't getting me wrong. I'm not saying it's like that now. I'm saying it's like a slippery slope and could get to that point with just how the class plays. Because I've played other games with stuff like this. Like it's not even a TCG, but like in World of Warcraft, it reminds me of like what was it? The Pyro Mage, where you can just the one that lets you cast any spell at free, and then you could like one-shot people. There's one point in time where you could just literally one-shot people, and that's what it reminds me of.
Outlaw Paul said, "Oh, I'm so sorry, Bill. You keep getting cut off. Go ahead, man."
I was just going to say, I think that my comment is as well more of a detraction on Blitz as a format, and not so much as Kano. I think that Kano is just set up to take advantage of the style that Blitz affords, where it's just like, you do as much as you can as quickly as possible. And the less amount of counterplay, the better, because then you don't have to worry about all the things. In CC, I think that Wizard is really interesting, and I think that Wizard has a lot more pieces to work with now. But yeah, just it's Kano in Blitz is annoying to play against, but I think it's mostly because Blitz is imbalanced.
I think what you said we can both agree on. I think that's very accurate.
Yeah.
There's
a reason they gave him less health.
Outlaw Paul says the guy who did 21 damage turn 1, and I'm like,
exactly right.
I mean, you're right. In UPF, when I died first, I definitely the threat there.
You're the Wizard, though, right?
Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! I shouldn't have attacked Kel. I know his never suffer a wizard to live. That's what his mantra is.
I didn't even
smart.
have the
option. That's a wise choice. That's a wise choice. Yeah, Scour is the card that I was thinking of. Spoiled by Arsenal Pass. This card is incredible for really sideboard in on specific matchups. This is the kind of card we just didn't have in Wizard.
See, that's the design space I really like for Wizard. I love Scour.
And that's what they're gonna do. That's what they provide pivot cards or sideboard cards. And now the class fundamentally shifts a little bit to not just be combo centric, but I could sideboard this in. I'd have a little bit favorable matchup. That means I can play the matchup slightly differently because I have a card like Scour. It's not just about I'm going to burn you out in as few turns as I can. So this is the set that allows heroes and classes to change.
Though they did get stuff like that though. What was that card called? That fire card that Arc spoiled.
Aether Wildfire.
That card's gross as well.
Card's nasty.
So they did get cards that are like explode you on one turn stuff, but
that's the thing though. With a set like this, they're going to give cards like that to all the classes.
Yeah,
except Brute.
So yeah. So,
of course.
Well, to bring it back like 10 minutes ago to what we were actually talking about, I think Wizard got a nice little boost from this set, and I think it's not broken or anything, but I think it's going to be scary. I think it's going to be scary. So yeah.
Okay, the questions come up multiple times. What do you guys think about the cards from Brute in this class and the way that they've sort of leaned heavy into the die roll aspect of Brute that we've seen a little bit before this, but now heavy into...
So I like it from this perspective. I don't like it so much from Greiner or Levia.
Like the classes that I was talking about are the ones that I think got like the biggest bump, I think Brute is one of the ones that got like the least bump, if that makes any sense, right? They got like they got some sweet cards, right? So like the card that, Spike Feeders obviously spoiled was really sweet. I forget the name of it. High Roller?
Ready to roll.
Ready to roll. I think there's a lot of like fun cards. Like for me as a who loves die rolls and these like random silly mechanics, I think they're fun, but I can totally see like heavy brute players like being like, what the hell? Like I can definitely see that. So yeah.
A lot of people were feeling a little bit shafted from what I saw in terms of like as I said, Levia and Reinar specifically getting picked over for KO. Like the fact that KO was the one that was getting all of this support. Like there are cards that technically do fit in the other decks, but they're like not nearly as impactful as they are for KO. So
yeah, there's like the big swing big is what it's called, is kind of cool.
Yeah,
Skull Crushers are kind of cool, but yeah.
I actually think Swing Big is really cool. That's a fun looking card.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I'm with you. And by the way, I totally I unplugged my mic. I don't know if you can hear me like normal, if it sounds weird.
Yeah. You sound fine.
No,
yeah.
Okay, cool. I think I like the aspect of die rolls being included in Brute, but then again, I'm not a huge Brute player, and so people that are like Brute mains can totally feel justified in going, why did we get die roll mechanics? Because I wanted to take this to, like big tournaments, and you may feel like the variance involved in die roll mechanics may just like hit your chances of being consistent, which I totally get, but at the same time, there's some fun to it that I'm actually looking forward to playing that I didn't necessarily lean towards Brute prior to this, but now I'm like looking at some of these die roll mechanics and I'm like, how many of those can I get into a deck? And how often can I just start rolling stuff? That seems like it's going to be really fun personally to me.
It legit makes me want to play Brute more. I think Brute is probably one of my least played classes outside of Limited, I guess. I really like Brute. I really like Reinar in Limited, but yeah, the die roll stuff looks like a ton of fun. I totally want to build like a Blitz or a UPF like die roll deck. That seems like a ton of fun. Yeah.
There's a comment in here that's interesting. It says, I think us brutalizers are just more salty that Levia needed a boost and now she's even further behind. I could see that. And then the idea that I feel like Control Dash got the most shafted item hate versus her endgame and only got niche sideboard cards. I could see that as well. Like specific archetypes may feel like they got like pushed down a little bit. Maybe that's something that they wanted to try and address. General large scale game plan for upcoming metas. Maybe they're trying to see if they can preemptively balance based on powerful cards introduced into the game.
I do want to give a huge shout to Bolton. I think Bolton got some really sick stuff to play with this set.
Yeah, the second swing or whatever, and what was it, Slice and Dice? I think are like really strong.
Helm of Sharp Eye too.
Yes, the Helm
Raiden
is
Bolton
really good.
would like that card.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's very interesting things that Bolton can do now with a couple of those cards. That also you can do stuff with axes too, like Slice and Dice. I think is an axe one, or no, is that the one that's only sword and dagger? I forget.
Slice and Dice is the sword and dagger. Yeah, which is okay. By the way, sword and dagger is really weird on a warrior card because warriors do not have daggers.
Don't have daggers. Yeah, I know.
Design space.
It's design. It's opening up the design, which is.
I'm really excited to see what sort of daggers they include for like whatever class.
Warrior dagger, like maybe it'd be a generic dagger. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm intrigued.
I'm also very intrigued.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to doing some like Axe Kasai and Axe Dorinthia. Axe Kasai makes me a little sad that they didn't word Kasai to say that our next weapon attack costs nothing, or like is one cheaper, because it only works with swords. And I was like crossing my fingers that we would get more like generic weapons in this set so that I could play like one-handed weapons with Shiana. That's legit what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
I wanted to play one-handed swords with Shiana so that I could make use of my spoiler card, but alas, I can't. I can't.
I was really looking forward to potentially getting the axe from Spillblood as like an axe.
That would be cool.
People
like just this huge two-handed axe.
There's a good number of people when my spoiler video was like still premiering. A lot of people guessed like two-handed axe for the name Dreadbore.
Yeah, that'd be a sweet.
And I
that'd
was
be a
just
sweet
thinking
name
like,
for that.
it's not that, but that sounds awesome. Like I would love I would love a sweet two-handed axe.
Oh, for sure.
Are any of you concerned with long games due to Guardian's power level and the current rules making both players lose when they're going to time? No, because I think the more that people play it, the more polished they'll be with decision making on the highest of levels. And I think that's where you really want to be concerned about your time usage because that's where it matters perhaps the most. And so for me, it doesn't affect. I wouldn't worry about it as much, I guess I should say. But perhaps in like an Oldham v Oldham matchup where someone's having to decide, am I going to take the initiative right now or am I going to play control? Then it starts to be worrisome. But I do think that as players continue to play, it does speed up the decision making process.
It'd be also interesting to see just how controlling and slow these new Guardian decks are going to be. They got some really heavy hitting stuff in Everfest. So
yeah, that's one of the things that I'm interested to see because like they are printing a lot of Guardian stuff, but the Guardian stuff they're printing is like really aggressive. Like, they're not printing that many control things, especially like with Seismic Surges. Like they just printed a 10 cost 14 attack thing. But Seismic Surges are more available now than they really ever have been. So that 10 cost thing, you're not waiting for an opportunity to play it. You might still be, but theoretically, you don't have to wait for it. You're just like, okay, I'm just going to pulverize you. Like, I'm just going to do it right now, attack you for 14. What are you going to do about it? So it's possible that Guardian actually becomes more aggressive and more front, like top heavy. And I'm excited to see if that actually ends up panning out. Because I just think that's a really cool idea for that class in general.
I just know
something go ahead, Kel.
I'm just gonna say I'm definitely gonna get killed by a pulverized pummel this year. 100%.
Sure.
It's gonna happen. Yeah. Anyway, go
just
ahead.
accept it. Just accept our fates. I'm curious because we talked a little bit about Merchant earlier. What do you guys think about the new Merchant hero and the inclusion of silver tokens? No gold, but silver tokens. What do you guys think about those? I like the inclusion of silver, but no gold. It just keeps dangling the carrots to later sets. I think that's super fun. Will it be an entire another year and supplemental set where we finally get gold, or will we get it in like a full-on set?
I just speculation abound in my head. I'm just like, gold, I don't know, not metrics, the pits and dirty money, and I don't know. I could see stuff like that. I think it's cool, and I want to play Knick-Knack Bric-a-Brac, basically. I want to play Knick-Knack Bric-a-Brac with a bunch of dumb potions and items and crap, and I want to not cash in. I want to use all of my coins and get a bunch of stuff, and then, probably cash them in too. But
you can cash out. That's I
actually have not seen cash out yet. I've heard that it's the other Majestic generic, but I haven't seen it yet.
That's a card?
Yes.
If I remember correctly, I don't know if this has been officially revealed or not. It might be a spoiler card, but it's really hard to keep track of what's what in this season. So if I remember correctly, it's a generic Majestic, and it's the card that was teased on the official LSS Twitter, or the Flesh and Blood Twitter, that allows you to destroy equipment. And it allows you to destroy any amount of, like, it's gold, silver, or bronze tokens, or copper tokens rather, or weapons or equipment you control to make, is it draw a card or make it a silver? It might just be equipment and weapons to make silver.
Just transmute all your gear into silver.
Yeah, it allows you to basically take everything to the shop and be like, here, buy this.
I think that's cool, and it just makes me want to play. Weird. Makes me want to play more weird merchant crap in like UPF.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, no, most definitely. There was a question that was asked about Arcane Lantern. Do you think Guardian is going to be the only class that uses Arcane Lantern for their offhand instead of like like a shield? I could see it being used in other classes as like a failsafe because they really don't want to give up. I'm trying to think of an example. They don't want to give up like Snapdragon Scalers or something like that. I could see that being something used going forward. I also think it depends on the prevalence of like Wizard, because Wizard's the one where you really sub in a lot of your arcane equipment, right?
Yeah, I think I could see some amount of other classes playing it. I don't know that it's an overwhelming majority right now, especially because some classes just really don't have a good like lone one-handed option.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think like
things.
Yeah, like what warrior, like one axe is kind of lame, one sabers, whatever, one Kadachi, like one Kadachi is probably the best case out of those, but
maybe brute with claws, like having a single claw. They don't play off of each other as much, so like maybe if you really needed to be defensive, but that's like hard against what brute needs to be.
I could just imagine like flavor wise, like KO have a claw and then just holding up this lantern.
Hello.
Is there a class that doesn't care about their weapon?
I was also trying to think about that too.
Like
most of them.
I was gonna say illusionist, but not really with how sick Luminaris is.
Luminaris is like gross. Yeah.
It's like game changing. Absolutely. Like maybe in some cases wizard, because they're like, I mean, they're the what is it, Crucible of Aetherweave is like really strong objectively, but if they had like a one-handed like wand or a source or something, I could see them maybe having it in like the sideboard for the mirror or something like that.
My first thought was
that
it works in Ninja. Like you swap out a Kadachi and you just play one Kadachi and you just go Kadachi into your big threats. Like you swap it out there so that you can keep your big equipment. But that was my only other thought besides Guardian. I just couldn't come up with anything like currently that would make that swap, you know?
I was really hoping for a one-hand generic. Yeah. So you could use it in like Cavdane or something.
Yeah.
Cody Davis came in with another question, you guys. He said, do you think a merchant hero in the future will have an alternate win condition, like spend X copper, silver, X gold to bribe the opponent for the win?
I love it.
I think that would be hilarious.
I love it. 100%. That sounds awesome. I love alternate win conditions in card games that are like weird and like not easy to pull off, and I think that sounds cool. Yeah.
I think it's going to be a pirate. I think it's going to be a pirate that's hoarding all the gold. I really want it to be a pirate. That's what I really want, guys. I just want a pirate.
What if it was a pirate that this wouldn't be a win condition, but I just had this like spark in my mind. What if there was a pirate that stole gold, silver, and copper from your opponent for effects?
Yeah, man, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
There's so many pirate things you can do. Look, there's so many pirate things.
Steal their items, steal their potions.
You steal. you can like. It could be like a gravedigger pirate that goes digging in their graveyard and plays a card at instant speed from their graveyard. Guys, I've thought about this way too much. Make a pirate class. Let's go. Make a pirate class.
Where would you? This is completely off the rails. What region of Wraith do you think the pirate would fit most in? Like, if there was going to be a pirate, where would you be like, that's the pirate in that set?
That's interesting question.
Pits? I can see pits. Yeah.
I guess the pits, yeah.
There was someone that tried to convince me that like you could do pirates in metrics and just make them mechanologist pirates, sky pirates.
Sky pirates. I think that's something that
I could see it.
I think that was something that we came up with in one of our old videos.
Yeah.
Sky pirates.
That actually makes a lot of sense. Feels very Chrono Trigger to me.
Exactly.
I
love that.
Like on airships and stuff. We've seen a dude on a freaking motorcycle in this set.
That's
T-Bone.
There's a mech warrior, guys. There's a mech warrior coming down the pipeline.
Mech warrior. Yeah, like comes up in a giant, like actual just mech.
Dude, the card's right here. Come on. It's right here.
Which one is it?
I love it.
Oh, is it the one with the arm?
Blade Runner.
No, it's just it's Blade Runner.
A mech warrior. She's a mech and she's a warrior. And so I made the joke in my short of the pack opening. I put a picture of just the mech warrior card, like of the old game, the old 90s mech warrior game.
I love it.
Hey, shout out in chat if you've played Mech Warrior.
I played. I liked, what is it called? The Mad Cat is the mech that I liked in Mech Warrior.
Yes.
I have played Mech Warrior.
Loaded
up with all the missiles and just fire them all at the same time.
Mech Warrior was fantastic.
I think we had Mech Warrior 3. I think we had Mech Warrior 3 on PC.
All the Mech Warriors were great.
Yeah.
That's a weird transition, but Mech Warrior, like, come on, we need pirates, guys. We got to get some pirates. They said he's wearing Achilles Accelerator in the art of Mech Warrior, which I'm calling Blade Runner Mech Warrior now, wearing Achilles Accelerator. Yeah.
Well, he's also
a fun little thing.
He's also got like weird gas gloves too. There's like steam coming out of the
I think
gloves.
it's
as well.
I think it's a lady, you guys.
I think it is.
Or just very long hair. Very long hair.
I think it's a lady.
I'm rooting for it to be a lady because that'd be awesome.
Also, I feel sorry for that other lady who's not armed at all, who's probably going to get wrecked by this blade.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on, but I kind of want to know. It looks like it's like a singer. I mean, it's just straight up all like Blade Runner-esque, which is why the art
like
and the
cyberpunk style setting. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
Okay, hang on. I will actually just be right back. I just have to go quickly handle something.
Good luck.
But
I'm going to ask this question while you're gone, and then we'll get your answer when you come back. Okay, here's the question, Kel.
Okay.
What will you build first?
Oh,
After seeing what you've seen thus far, what will you build first?
Is there any question as to what I am building first? I am going to build Dreadbore Azalea, and I'm going to try to make it work. That's what I'm building first. I'm actually really excited to build a lot. I'm probably going to, like, legit, this is what I do. I'm probably going to end up building, like, 3 or 4 decks all at once. Like...
Oh, I did already, yeah.
Yeah, this is just going to be all at once. I've been waiting to see all of the cards, because I want to see all of them to see what all of the options are, especially in regards to Ranger, because there's a bunch of cards we haven't seen yet. But, yeah, I want to build a lot of decks. I'm building Valda Bright Axe for Ultimate Pit Fight. I'm building Azalea, Class Constructed. I want to build Icelander as well. There's a whole bunch of stuff that I want to build. It looks like a lot. I started
early because FabDB updated, and I was like, "Sweet, I'm starting right now." I straight up started early. Whoops. And I'll tell you, the first thing that I built. I don't know if you can guess it, Kel. What would you guess? Guess in chat as well. What's the first thing that I built?
You built, and this is me trying to think of the least likely thing that you would actually build. I don't know. You probably built Kasai, right?
Kasai is a good guess, but no. It's next on the chopping block.
Second one is Kano.
No, we haven't seen enough of the official spoilers for Wizard.
Really?
What do you think is the first
Kasai
thing?
Or Kano?
After all spoiler season was done, someone said in chat Icelander. Benji was thrown out there. Benji's a great guess, but not Benji. I don't think anyone's gonna guess it.
Weird as a data doll?
No, but that's a great one. No. 100 wins Katsu. Let's go.
Oh, you did say that earlier. You
straight up.
Wins.
The first thing that I built was 100 wins Katsu because I just think it's so cool, man.
I mean, I like it too. I like it a lot. It's
so yeah. Bill, what's the first thing you want to build?
I want to build Spring Tidings Mask Benji. I think that deck is going to be either really sweet or really good or both. I actually have a bet with one of my friends, actually one of the people that was in the chat calling me a bully, Patrick. I was like, I don't know. I think that this specifically, like Spring Tidings and Mask of the Pouncing Lynx, could potentially make Benji like CC viable. I think that it allows him to maybe put out enough damage, even with the huge downside of starting at 17 life. But he was like, yeah, I don't think that's possible. And I was like, okay, well, I am going to try to slap you to death with Spring Tidings.
Like I said,
CC once it comes out.
That card basically reads, you have to block me. Basically,
it's so good.
Yeah, it does. You definitely have to block. Some people in chat are saying Cavday and Icelander because I already played her. I was thinking after all spoilers actually came out and Icelander kind of happened before spoiler season. But for me, it was 100 wins Katsu. But I do think Benji is on my list and Kasai is going to be the next thing that I build because you have to. You just have to, right?
Oh, absolutely.
I think Kasai is going to be really sweet. Yeah.
And Dreadbore Ranger is going to be a thing.
I'm going to give it a shot. Pun intended.
I'm really excited to get my my cold foil Dreadbore so that I can try it out.
Yes, I'm really excited. I want to build that's the thing with Ranger. I'm probably going to build like 2 or 3 different like archetypes for the class, and because I want to do the go wide thing. I want to do the wombo combo go wide thing. Probably won't use Dreadbore for that. I will probably use Death Dealer because just drawing cards is so good off of triple shot. That's probably what I will be doing. But for Dreadbore, it's going to be more of a go tall on hit kind of thing. I'm really excited for that. Yeah.
I think that was actually my last question written down. I think we've covered everything, you guys. We've reached the end of our journey. Unless someone puts a question in chat.
Most of the questions that we talked about. Most of the questions that we talked about that were asked in chat were also on this list.
How about what is your favorite art that you've seen so far? Because there's some really, really good ones. Like I'm not even
tough.
No joke. This might be like one of the best looking sets that they've ever done. There's such like fantastical art. There's the Aether Wildfire, the Mark Poole artwork. People are gonna love that. There's Mask of the Pouncing Lynx is one of my personal favorites. Sam Yang is fantastic, and this art is cute and awesome, and I love it. What else? There's some of the Sod.
I really like Winds of Eternity. I put this on the screen right now. Winds of Eternity is beautiful. It's just like the way it's structured, the way it's sort of laid out. I love when they tilt the perspective on it so it's not straight left and right, and that it's like got the little 45 or the 33-degree angle one way. Spring Tidies, we're already talking about how pretty that card, or how good that card is. That card is beautiful. Colors used there.
The Illusionist cards. Fractal Replication and Mirage and Metamorph.
Crown of Reflection. Oh my god.
Yes.
Card is just beautiful.
Like any
Fractal
of the
Replication, maybe my choice actually. Now that I think about it,
like foil.
Agreed.
It's gonna look so sweet.
Jeez.
The playmat for this looks incredible.
I think
Fractal
my
Replication
vote for favorite art, honestly, is maybe some of the talismans. The talismans have phenomenal art. There's one that isn't currently on the spoiler list, and I can't remember the name of it. But it's on like a really black background and has like a green gem inside of like a semicircle.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about.
It's very, I saw that one.
I would describe that as very clean. It's very clean.
It's just it's so crisp. It's something about it. It's really satisfying.
I love the art on Healing Potion. Like
me too. Yeah, that's a good one.
Potion of Deja Vu.
Potion of Deja Vu.
Potion of Deja Vu is fantastic.
Not gonna lie here. So I'm currently working with an artist to do a new piece for my channel. It's Flesh and Blood artist. And after some of these potions were spoiled, I was like, hey, can we throw a couple of these potions in the background? And they were like, yes, let's do it. So that's how much I love these potions. I was like, put it
Potion
in the
of
thing.
Deja Vu is stunning. This in cold foil. Oh my god.
I think it's a really fun card too. I'm gonna be
full art Arcane Lantern. That card is beautiful.
Yes.
Yeah.
I also saw the full art version of the Guardian chest piece, the majestic one. There's a full art version of that
too.
That's awesome.
I wonder if there are going to be any other equipments that get that treatment.
I would lose my mind if there's a full art like Dreadbore. Just saying.
Is this weird? I actually really love the art on this Rounds on Me.
This Rounds on Me is awesome.
Yeah.
It feels
I like
so good.
Yeah.
It's structured so well.
The one issue that I have is that Briar's face is a little bit off. Something about it just doesn't quite match up for me. I
think so?
I honestly don't know what it is.
Is it the lip? Is it like her lips?
I do love it. It might be her lips. They're maybe just a little bit too square.
They're very pronounced. Yeah.
Oh, I don't mind that. Yeah, it reminds me of some anime styles.
It's like the only. I think it's
like a personal thing.
It might just because she's also the only character that has like very different colored lips in the picture too, so it stands out.
But largely, like 100%, I love the art for this Rounds on Me.
Potion of Luck. This is a good one. Someone said that in chat.
Yeah, the potions are really sweet.
Yeah.
There's some weird potions. The Amulet of Echoes has ears. It's like a bell with like freaking ears on it, and it's just really creepy. It looks like something. It looks like an item you'd pick up in like Bloodborne or something.
Yeah, it's got there's some weird stuff. Yeah, but I like that about it. It makes it distinctive. I think Icelander. I think Icelander. The design for Icelander is really beautiful.
Really nice.
Steve Argyle knocked it out. Yeah.
No, seriously, phenomenal. It's a hero you look at and you want to play. You know, you're like, oh my god, that's so beautiful. I'm gonna play her.
Yeah, there's some really cool, like Talisman of
Rune.
I was gonna say Talisman of Recompense reminds me of like one of the sculptures from Beetlejuice that come to life and like attack them.
Yes,
that's what it reminds me of.
Actually. my final shout out for really great art that is going to look fantastic in cold foil and is also metal as just all hell is Vexing Quillhand.
Oh yeah, dude.
Oh, that one's good.
When I looked
That
at it
one's
again
good.
and I saw that the hooks were actually
the
like
little
in
hooks.
the arm,
Oh, dude.
Yeah,
that's really
it
good.
looks like
brutal.
that's Chain's hand. It
Yeah.
looks like that's Chain writing.
Oh, I have to go look at it again.
Yeah.
I just remember
Forming
like
Gloom Veil reminds me of a card that you would see in like Yu-Gi-Oh.
which one's the
Swarming Gloom Veil, the Majestic, the
Oh.
Rune Blade Majestic
Yes.
with like the,
Yes,
the clearly anime character with the largest shoulder pauldrons in the world
Yeah,
and
like
like the
the-
rune
and like
chains
the
all around.
seals.
Yes,
Yeah.
100%.
It's so good.
I see exactly where you're coming from with that. It does look like our Yu-Gi-Oh card.
Yeah, Timekeeper's Whim. We talked about that earlier, but then we don't have that like a picture of that on the database yet.
You know what? I love Vexing Quillhand because it also looks like they're wearing like emo gloves from like the mid 2000s.
Yeah.
They're like emo gloves, and then
Yeah,
it's really good.
Tri-Shot
Something that you
even
see
a
like a-
cool piece with the use of blues for the
Yeah, it looks
moonlight.
cool.
Yes.
The
I like
Tri-Shot.
that.
Lots of questions arise when I look at Tri-Shot. Like, why do they have like a gas mask? I'm just very curious on a lot of this. It looks like Azalea. It's hard to tell. They're
That is
using
Azalea, yeah.
they're using Death Dealer. Why does Azalea have a gas mask? Like, I don't know. I'm just curious. I'm very
She's
curious.
smart, man. She knows what she's doing. She's going into that.
Who
she's
did the art? Oh,
she's
Bima.
gassed it up probably.
Bima did the art. I'm gonna email Bima. Bima, tell me, why does she have a gas mask?
The bow also has like a laser sight on it.
Yeah,
like a
Death
retina
Dealer
Yeah,
or
which is
something.
in Take Aim. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's in Take Aim as well. So you look back at Arcane Rising, it's been there that whole time. This question was asked. Outlaw Paul coming in again saying, how would you guys go about building new Bravo? I know who can take this question. The guy right below me.
Bill.
That's
Bill.
me. I'm to your
Yeah,
left. Yes. So right now, my plan for building the new Bravo is to literally just slam. I can't find my third one, but I have all three of the pulses in cold foil.
Nice.
So that's my base. I'm starting with that, and probably doing just some clean split of elemental stuff. And a lot of the actions that just have like, if this is played from Arsenal, draw a card, or like honestly, I think with the new chest, like Tome of Harvests becomes kind of insane.
Yeah. Interesting.
And stuff like that. Like I don't know exactly how frequently I'll be triggering his ability. I think I saw somewhere on one of the Discords that they had theory crafted a list that triggers his ability like 90% of the time, or some ridiculously high number. Which I think is cool, but I think just having the breadth of being able to have all three elements gives you so much room to work with and makes it just a very interesting deck.
What
Totally does.
What boots did you go for? Did you go for like time skippers, or did you go for like the mage masters? I'm just curious on the boots.
Sparkly cowboy boots. Yeah.
Sparkly cowboy boots. Yeah.
Actually, it was really funny. I put together like a spec list for it and posted it, and that was like the one thing that I forgot to add was boots. And so the only feedback I got on it was, "Oh, barefoot Bravo, that's really brave." I'm like, please forgive me.
Please call it Barefoot Bravo from now on. That would be sick.
Barefoot Bravo.
By the way, Breezy did mention this, and I totally forgot about this. The Pits does have toxic air. It's actually in the lore. And so it would make sense for you to have gas mask. Maybe she's hunting someone that's been around toxic air too long, or in a pocket of it too long, and now they're all affected by it. Hey, we got one more question, and I'm going to ask it, and I forgot the question, so give me a moment.
I'm just
Dang, why did I forget the question
I'm just eyeing
so hard?
Steven's lore book in the background. I'm just like, look at that lore book just sitting there.
What was the question? I need to think about what triggered the question. Look, everybody, if this happens to you frequently, just step back a few steps, do what you were doing when you thought of the question, and it worked. Yes, it worked. Okay.
Easy.
All right, last question. And you at home can play along as well. Here's the last question of the night before we sign off. Everyone has to go around and decide, now that we're through the spoiler season for Everfest, and we're gonna be building with Everfest cards, and playing lots of different games. And what do you think is going to be the next destination for the next set? Okay, the next place we're going.
I think
is it the pits? Is it metrics?
Three
is
really
it
good
Volcor?
answers.
Is it Savage Lands? Those are the. Is it Mysteria? Those are the ones that are left. So what do you think? I will go first. Since I posed the question, I'll give you guys extra time to think. My guess is that we go to Volcor. I think we go to Volcor, and I am super pumped to go to Volcor because I think that is my favorite region based on just what they're doing there and the lore and the interesting story that's going on with Volcor. So if you don't know the story, Volcor is the southern part of Wraith, and it is sort of like a more feudal, if you will, and there's warring factions of like warlords that are kind of just running around trying to take different portions of land and like own more land by conquering it and battling others. And there's a leading noble house and a nobility that lives at the center of Volcor, and that lives in like this very large castle near the volcano in Volcor, I believe. And there's like weird stuff going on. Like they're losing control of Aether. They can't like maintain control. So weird things are like mages are accidentally lighting themselves on fire, and there's people that are shape-shifting into well, actually no, they're not shape-shifting. They're like being possessed by strange otherworldly creatures that are pale white in the nobility. So like there's an infiltration and they don't know where it's coming from. And that's actually what Kano is supposed to be discovering, is why the Aether is unstable and where these strange infiltrators are coming from and how they're basically body snatching members of the nobility. Super interesting. And also Kasai's over there. Her family were like minor warlords and they got captured. And so she's trying to raise an army and go and kill the guy that captured her family. There's lots of really cool stuff going on.
It reminds me of the art from Nourishing Emptiness where Kano is like on fire. He looks like he's on fire. And when you said that they're lighting themselves on fire, I'm just like, that's what I immediately thought of. Interesting.
Yeah. There's a lot of tie-ins that I could talk about with regards to the main story that's going on across the world, but of Wraith, of course. But I'm curious to hear what you guys think, where we're going. I think it should be that one.
Do you think Volcor will be its own thing like Aria was?
That's a great question.
Will it combine to like Monarch?
I think Monarch was combined because of the duality between them. Like their stories are inextricably connected and have to be told together in the same set.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily think that any other... Well, that's not true. No other region except Pits and Metrics are connected in that way.
I was thinking the same
all
thing.
the others could be standalone minus the Pits and Metrics.
I think there are three really good and interesting places we could go to. Volcor is one of them. I think Mysteria is the other one. And then the Pits and Metrics are the other one. And that's both mechanically and story-wise, right? Because each of them features a class prominently, at least currently, that exists that hasn't had a lot of support recently. So you have, Wizard, you have Ninja, you have Mechanologist, right?
Sure.
And getting new heroes for any of those classes, especially Mechanologist and Wizard, will make people very, very happy. So I would guess one of those. Personally, I would love to go to the Pits and have like a Pits Metrics set that's like, high tech, low life, cyberpunk-ish, but not really cyberpunk, Steam, and, you have your groungy thieves and assassins and scoundrels and stuff. I think that could be really cool, and I think it could make a really cool dichotomy coming off of Aria, where Aria is like very whimsical and fantastical, and then now you just hard cut to like, scumbags like, stealing people's coin purses or whatever. So I'm gonna say that just to not say Volcor, I will say that I think Volcor is a very, very good guess, though. I would not be surprised like at all if they're like, oh, it's Volcor. I'll be like, yep, Volcor.
I think it's really funny. My thoughts were exactly the same as yours, Kel. Like to the same order that I was going to say them in. But yeah, I think that Volcor would make a lot of sense because it would allow us to build on Elemental in like a slightly different way. Like we could add fire, we could add wind, we could add like different elements. And I think that would be interesting. And then I also really like the idea of going to Mysteria so that we can actually get like a sizable amount of ninja stuff. And then again, it can still be adding on to elemental stuff. Again, we could have wind. I think that would make sense. I was actually expecting in Tales of Aria before Briar was released, I thought that Briar was going to be a ninja. Like I thought that it was going to be lightning, earth, or whatever, and have the earth be like wind or something similar. But so I would really like to see that. I think that that would make a lot of sense just for the direction, like you said, for actually building out like mechanically.
Yeah.
It would be nice to have that instead of them, either doing Runeblade again or building outwards too much instead of building up. I think that that's one thing that I would like to see a little bit more of. But yeah, I am really excited to see where we go next. I think Metrics would be my favorite just from like a flavor standpoint. I love the aesthetic of it. I love cyberpunk type things.
It'd be interesting.
But I something that I personally would really like mechanically is either building out existing classes or building out the elemental talents. I really, really like just the implementation of elements, and I think that there's a lot of extra design space that they can go into. It may not quite be time for that. I think maybe they could focus some more, but
I'll say this very quickly. I don't think we'll see elements for a very long time because elements are probably going to be just unique to Aria. I think each other region will have a brand new, completely different thing.
I would have agreed with you until I saw 100 Winds, and I do think if they're going to do an element, it's going to be Wind Ninja. I do think that's like because I can't think of another. I guess I could get creative, like thing that fits so well. Like literally, there's a card in this set that's like Ride the Gale.
Yeah,
and they're like surfing
their
on the
border.
wind. You know
the thing is, though, like they said that each region will have its own unique talent. Like that's what it says on the thing, and that the borders kind of signify that. So like we saw the borders. So the ninja border, like the Katsu's border, is all wispy and windy. So I'm pretty sure it's gonna be something to do with like wind or mist or something. But I don't think it'll be elemental. Right. I think it'll be different.
Oh, they won't call it elemental. Oh, I agree with you. Yeah, I totally agree with you.
No, actually, I agree with that.
Yeah, same for like Volcor and fire or lava or whatever. It'll be different than elemental, but probably invoking those themes. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you in that front. Okay, we all agree then. I think we're talking the same thing. We just said it in a different way.
Yeah.
Well, cool. Gentlemen, that was fun. I hope you enjoyed it at home. This was a good time. I'm so excited to open some Everfest. Like, these boxes, we can just like, we can go ahead and get to Friday already so we can just crack some boxes. Boxes can show up everywhere.
I'm so excited.
I can't wait.
Do we maybe want to do like a group box opening stream? I think I saw you guys do that one time. I do have a case that's going to be ready on Friday, so perhaps.
Yes. Funny you mentioned
that. We'll get you in on it then if you want to join us. We are setting that up.
We've been talking about it already, actually, because I think that just would be a ton of fun, and I want to just open up some boxes. I have no idea when my boxes are coming in though, so I ordered like 6 cases from like 3 different people. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see who gets there first. So I don't know.
That if you would like to watch us open boxes on release day of Everfest, I don't know, like do a thumbs up. That's what you should do. That's the YouTuber thing, right? People say that. Yeah. Thumbs the video up. If this video gets 100,000 no, there's no way. If this video gets 25 thumbs ups, then we'll open boxes.
That's a little bit less than 100,000.
I just needed a low ball answer to get an excuse to open boxes on Friday. I'm gonna do it anyway.
We're gonna open up some boxes.
13 thumbs ups, everyone. Just give it a thumbs up and it'll open it. Only if it's 13 exactly though.
Depending
so thumbs
on
down the fit. No, wait, don't do that either.
Depending on how it goes, I might just have to run out to any one of the local places that have it in stock that day and just snatch another case up. Yeah,
just snatch it up. It's going to be good. Well, if you enjoyed this, then check out these fine folks at their own personal YouTube channels. You may be watching this on Kel's YouTube channel tomorrow. If you are, how's the future?
If you
Hope
are,
it's
it's
treating you
today.
well. Hope it's treating you well. Get hyped. You're one day closer than we were talking right now to Everfest.
If it's true, then it's Monday,
Envious.
which means it literally is coming out in only like a couple days, which is
It's crazy.
sick.
You'll
The
love to
same
see
work
it.
week, dude.
It's the
You'll
same
love
work.
to
It's just
see it.
Friday. Yeah.
All right, everyone.
I'm excited.
Goodbye.
Have yourselves a great night.
And good
Thanks for
luck.
tuning in.
Thanks for watching, everyone.